Welcome. Today, we are going to talk about data privacy in the cloud, a critical topic when it comes to protecting sensitive information and ensuring compliance with data protection regulations. So let's dive in. The first is protecting sensitive data. Let's break this down. The main strategies to protect sensitive data in the cloud. Again, some of the concepts you should already know. It's a repetition, so for you, it can be regarded as a recap. The first is data encryption. Encryption is your first line of defense. Make sure to encrypt data both at rest and specifically in transit. You can use a strong encryption standards like AES 256, actually. This is the length of encryption to keep unauthorized user from accessing your data. The next control is access control. To limit who can access sensitive data or information, you should implement RBAC, that is role-based access control, and the principle of least privileges on your staff or your teammates. This ensures users only have the access they need. And on top of it, you can add MFA, which again increase your security posture. How about data masking? For non-production environment, data masking is a great strategy to hide sensitive data. It ensures that even in development environment or DevOps or testing environments, the data remains protected and it limits the exposure, which means if there is a credit card information, your DevOps teams can still work with their scripts, they can still create their websites, their application, they can use the credit card information, but they cannot read it. Because for them, the data is masked. The data is there, but it is masked. So you can use this to, again, put some security layers on top of your infrastructure. Now, what about something actually went horribly wrong? Well, think about ransomware. Your data disk is already encrypted and they're asking for bitcoins to give you the key. Trust me, even if you give them money, they're not going to give you the key. Your data is gone. So in that case, the best defense is just telling them that I don't care, I have the backup. So the point is backup and recovery. Well, regular backups are essential. Make sure that sensitive data is backed up and that the recovery process is tested regularly. Don't forget to encrypt your backups and store them securely as well. Imagine if you're not testing your restore process, when you want to restore and if something goes wrong, you will lose a lot of critical data. But backups are awesome to protect your data. The next one, before we move forward, is compliance. Always be aware of data privacy regulations like GDPR, CCPA, or HIPAA. Work closely with your cloud providers to ensure that your cloud environment meets the required compliance standard so that you are not in a legal mess. This one is also a nice one. Data minimization, which means only store the data you absolutely need. Implement data retention policies to delete or minimize unnecessary data, which helps reduce exposure and it also minimizes the risk of data loss. In simple word, hey, only focus on critical data. That way, you can also manage that data more effectively. If you have huge pile of fluff, or I will say bloat data or bloatwares, now you are making data protection more challenging. And if it is more challenging, human errors can occur. And if human errors will occur, there's a chance that you will lose your data. Now let's talk about some challenges related to data sovereignty and compliance. So what is data sovereignty? Well, data sovereignty refers to where your data is stored and the logical or legal implementation. Location is sometimes very critical. Since cloud providers store data in multiple regions all across the globe, this geographical location can affect the legal jurisdiction. Understanding where your data reside is crucial. The other one is compliance with legal or local regulations. Different countries have unique data protection laws. For example, again, the old laws of GDPR in Europe and CCPA in California. Compliance with these laws can be complicated, especially when data is stored across multiple locations. So that is also an important thing to keep in mind. Cross-border data transfer. Well, transferring data across borders can sometimes violate data sovereignty laws. You'll need a mechanism like standard contractual clause, SCCs. These are simple like contract clause, and you have to follow the rules. All the rules are well defined in it. Or maybe you have to do data localization to ensure compliance when transferring data internationally. Security and privacy concerns. Well, protecting sensitive data from unauthorized access is always a priority, especially in environments where data spans multiple jurisdictions. Make sure that the regions where your data is stored and processed comply with their local laws. Oh, vendor management. You also need to ensure that your cloud providers follow strict compliance and security standards for data handling. The shared responsibility model complicates things here. So you'll need to work together to meet compliance requirement. And this is why I say using big players like Azure, AWS, Google is still safer than using some small cloud initiatives from a random country. Why? Because these big players put a lot of money to make sure that they are compliant, they actually follow all the regulations properly, laws, right? Because there's a lot at stake. In the summary, data privacy in the cloud requires a strong focus on encryption, access control, compliance, and data sovereignty. By following best practices, you can keep sensitive data protected, ensure compliance with local laws, and manage the risk associated with storing data in multiple global locations. So I hope now you understand that just a simple act of protecting and storing and distributing data can also be very complicated, especially if the data is super critical and sensitive. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you in the next episode. Take care.